What is going on, everybody? Kamusta kayo lahat mula sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, or wherever the heck you are on the planet? This is your one and only Jake of all trades, the place to be for any niche, every genre, and all generations. I'm your master of ceremony, D to the E to the LRO, aka JDR, aka the extraordinary introvert. So before we start, I would like to thank everyone who joined last Saturday's live stream. It was fun. That was my first time doing a live stream. Unlike right now, which we're going back to regular programming, which is pre-recording stuff and editing. But yeah, super duper thank you to everyone who joined my birthday live stream. It was fun. I'm sure it wasn't the most perfect for sure. I'm sure you guys have a lot of comments by and all, but yeah, major thanks to everyone who participated. Second of all, as you guys can see, it is Christmas season, so by the time this edited video is out, you see a lot of snowflake background. Of course, you have a lot of Christmas sounds in the background. Of course, we're not hearing them right now in real time, but as soon as this video is out, I would have incorporated those edits. So yeah, it's Christmas season already, so hopefully y'all still have that holiday spirit despite the uncertainties and of course the differences that this year has brought. But yeah, hopefully we keep that holiday vibe going. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So what do you guys know? Another day, another magic guest. This is literally our third guest from Magic 89.9. But unlike Ryan and unlike Yanni, I'm not as starstruck as this guest over here. It's not because she ain't cool and all. If anything, she's equally as talented. But the reason why I'm not as starstruck is because we go way back. So as you can see, we've been friends since second year of college. In fact, we were classmates at Theo. We were literally seatmates. So that's crazy how time flies. But yeah, naungopi pa tayo ng notes. So yeah, basically, to keep it short, I am not as starstruck. I'm not as, I'm not in utter shock or disbelief. But yeah, it doesn't mean she's not as talented. If anything, she also has a lot to bring to the table. So unlike Ryan, who of course ventured out into hosting and DJing, and unlike Yanni, who of course we all know her as that courtside reporter for UP, this guest over here, she took her talents in the realm of theater. So just to give you guys a brief background, she was a member of the Ateneo Blue Repertory, more commonly known as Blue Rep. Of course, she acted a lot of plays, and if I'm not mistaken, she actually got a chance to experience directing. So I think she did direct some plays, or at least co-directed some plays. So you can see very versatile. She's been an artist, or she's been an actor, and she's also been on the directing side. So not everyone can say that, and the fact that she's been doing that at a young age, that's very telling. Of course, she is also a Magic product, so she joined the Junior Jocks program as well, and she's been hosting herself. But yeah, as far as the specialties of her craft, she's really more into the acting side, the theater side. And of course, I'm sure you've been seeing a lot of YouTube ads, since I'm sure ngayon maraming nagbe-binge ng mga YouTube videos. She is that girl in the spicy labuyo ad from Lucky Me. So I'll definitely link that later on. But with that out of the way, and please again correct me if I'm messing up some stuff right there in the intro. Please give it up for Joyce Buen, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Jake, for that intro. It's amazing.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you didn't get anything wrong. Yeah, and happy birthday as well. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
It has been a while. Yeah, we were seatmates in Theo, guys. I wouldn't have survived without this guy.
Yep, for sure. And yeah, I'm sure Joyce over here is shocked, and I'm sure all of you guys are shocked since I did mention this in the live stream and over, but yeah, super tahimik ko, no? Like nung back in our time sa Theo.
Honestly.
Sure.
Like I felt so bad because I felt like I talked too much, just because as somebody from the radio, it's like, oh, dead air. So when no one's talking, I'm just like, hey, Jake.
Yeah. Nah, I think it's just me being suplad at the time, but yeah. Once again, major apologies to everyone who I snobbed back then. Trying to just make amends and all, but yeah, Joyce got it right. We were seatmates back then in Theo, and although we went through separate lives. At least we're back here after so long. And yeah, let's get to it. So I know I said a lot of things about Joyce, but I'm sure I may have missed out some stuff. So this is your chance to introduce yourself to some of my listeners. Go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, I guess, well, Jake has probably covered a lot of it, but yeah, so my name's Joyce. I do a lot of theater stuff. So I started when I was like in high school, I guess. I was homeschooled in high school. So I started back then. And if I'm counting correctly, so by the time, like maybe by next month, I would have been doing musical theater for a decade now. And so that's crazy, but yeah, but seriously doing it really started in Ateneo with Blue Rap. So yeah, a lot of musical theater, but I also, ever since I started Blue Rap or joined or, been in Ateneo, I really love the art of acting and directing. So yeah, I've been an assistant director, an associate director, a co-director, and just like a plain director. And I love both. You can't make me choose which one I want to do more. But yeah, right now, since the theater scene isn't exactly booming because of the pandemic, I really just teach a lot of theater to some teenagers. I also do a lot of voiceover work. That's mostly what I'm doing right now. So yeah, voice acting is that how I kind of keep the acting thing going.
Yeah. So guys, basically I have the better Joyce, Joyce bring who? Like, who's that? Who's that?
That is so funny. It's so funny too, because like when I started in Magic, I really had to ask like, do I have to change my name because we already have a Joyce Pring? But it's okay. Like no one really got confused, except for the fact that like I would sit in on Aaron Ataida's show a lot, and some of the like, because it used to be Aaron and Joyce, right? And so I'd be like, hey dude, you can still play this thing that says Aaron and Joyce, because like I'm here, but we never did that. But it's really fun. It's an ongoing joke, I guess, like there sometimes. But yeah, I'm definitely not the better Joyce, but I'm the Joyce so you have no choice.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, guys, that's a pretty packed resume, to say the least. I did not even know that she does a voiceovers too. So I'm sure you guys know some of the more popular voice actors now, like Sina Inca, Sina Rain, and all of that. So yeah, just the fact that this Joyce over here is like in line with all these other talented voiceover actors, like that says a lot.
Thank you.
So I guess now that we got all your background stuff out of the way, I guess the most important question, or one of the first and important questions to ask, is what interested you? Like we've in this show, I've covered so many niches already, from basketball to radio to schooling and all that. But I guess since we're now tackling theater, which is definitely far-fetched from the rest, as with anything else, what interested you into pursuing your life, on the stage? What made you want to aspire your, Broadway dream of sorts?
Yeah. You know what? I am actually not very sure about that. So, as like I mentioned earlier, so I was homeschooled since I was in the 4th grade, and so when I was growing up, mostly I was alone. Not lonely, but I was just like spending my time alone. I actually realized that I kind of wanted to try out acting because I read a lot, and so I loved books. And there was this one time, like I was probably like 10 years old or 11. I was reading a book, and then I realized that I could sort of understand how this character was feeling, but the things I couldn't even relate to her. Like we had nothing similar. But the fact that I could understand this character kind of like made me realize, hey, that's funny. And so I tried to read it out loud and tried to act a certain scene. And I realized, hey, this is probably something I could do. And then so I started just, watching. And like I like musicals, I guess. Growing up, I would watch like, musical animation and just plain musicals like Annie and Les Mis and stuff like that. And so I really wanted to try it. But, I grew up in a farm, and I grew up homeschooled, like in the province. And so it's not like there's a theater scene that I could go to. But I moved somewhere closer to Metro Manila around 2011. And so I practically begged my parents to let me enroll in this musical theater class. But the thing is, it was in Metro Manila and I was living in Laguna. And so I actually, like at 14 years old, I had to learn how to commute by myself just so I could bring myself to theater class. So every week I would do that. So eventually I learned how to, just travel back and forth and even take a part-time job so I could afford the classes myself. So that's all, like, so I was hosting and stuff like that. I was teaching English, things like that, just for me to really pursue theater. And even at this point, I didn't think that was something that I would do for all my life. It was just, an interest. It was I guess, a passion, but I really didn't think that I would continue to do it. And even going into college, I had no plans of even enrolling or like auditioning for Blue Rep. But then I saw, I was familiar with them because I was already auditioning for professional plays during my gap year between like high school and college. But when I got to college, I was like, okay, sure, let's try auditioning for Blue Rep. And then I got in and I just kept going. And I learned a lot more. I learned a lot more about theater, not just the performance side, but really backstage and directing and things like this. And I just fell in love with it and I just kept doing it.
It's nice. It's a very interesting backstory. So, guys, just the fact that, she does not have, or at least during her time, like, wala masyadong resources or just the overall setting wasn't really conducive or like friendly to theater aspirants. But the fact that, Joyce found a way over here to, carve her own path and to just try to pursue her biggest dream of acting. Like, that's already something to be applauded for, in the long run. And yeah, I guess this leads me now to my next question. So with all these stories and all your adventures, from the farm to the city life, what was your big break moment, to say the least?
Ooh, okay, well,
or what made you know
question.
What made you like know that, oh, this is definitely for me. I think that I can do this long term and it's not like a part-time type of thing.
Yeah, the thing is, it's such a funny question because I don't think that I've had a big break, but because like I don't think I'm famous or anything, but I think I guess it's a series of little things, I mean, not, well, I would say it's little things, but it's big things really. So I guess the first one would be the fact that so for me, it's when you get paid to do what you love. That's for me, for sure, one. And so the first time that I realized I could get paid for like doing theater, other than teaching, is when I got to do an internship, like an all-expense paid internship to Europe for performing. Yeah.
That was nice.
So back in 2017, there was this whole like long audition process, but basically someone was looking for performers to take with him to Malta in Europe. And honestly, like the people I was up against, because there was a lot of Blue Rappers that I was up against, and I really don't think I'm the most talented person in Blue Rap, like far from it. I'm not one of them, but it just, the job kind of entailed like hosting and working with children, and that's something that I've done all my life. And so the fact that getting to go abroad to act, to perform, is one big thing, because it's like, you've gone somewhere because of talent, I guess. So that's one. But another one, like here in the Philippines at least, is really maybe my first newspaper mention as an actor. I think that's pretty big.
Nice.
Yeah. So
what
that
newspaper
was
is this?
Year. That was this was in the Inquirer. So I was doing last year. I was doing the Theory of Relativity with Blue Rep, which was actually like kind of like my comeback because I stopped acting for like 2 years, and so because I was directing and I was doing other things, and then I went back, and this was like the first time in 2 years that I acted for Blue Rep, and the show is great. It's not me or anything. It's a really great show. And the directors are great. Andre Pamintuan is there, and Abby Sulit was a musical director. And so the people I was working with is great. And then it was just a great production, and it always had like such great reviews. But I was really super kilig siguro kasi the review that we had on the newspaper it happened to mention my name and a few others, so it wasn't just me. But the fact that, hey, oh my gosh, you know, like my first newspaper mention as an actor was positive, I think that was pretty big. So I would say those two moments, and yeah, getting a commercial, that's definitely the latest.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Yeah. Wow, those are, yeah, yun talagang yung big break, to say the least. Like, you know, you have an Inquirer featurette, and then of course that YouTube video. Like, I still can't get over that because you know, I watch a lot of videos during my breaks, and I always see those three ladies, you included.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you know, palakasan, like the falsetto-ness of each of your voices. Like, very funny.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, I actually haven't seen that pop up in my YouTube. Like, I don't know if I don't watch YouTube at all, but like I've never been targeted by my own ad, and I'm thankful just because I think it's crazy and it's cringy to see myself. Although I saw it on the bus. Alam mo when you're on the bus and you're watching TV, I would see it and I'd be like, oh, that's funny. Like, here I am watching myself. So there's that.
I think this week alone, I've seen it like twice or thrice already.
I am so sorry for that.
No. I wonder though, like, did you have to use auto-tune, or was that like original, unfiltered, raw falsettos coming out of your vocal cords? Wait up. Guys, we'll be... All right, yeah, back again. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but yeah, basically, my question is, like, during that ad, when you shot it, did you have to use auto-tune, or did you, like, yell that straight from your lungs, you know? Like,
No. So the funny thing about that commercial is actually, we weren't required to be singers, like, when we auditioned. Like, nobody, like, they mentioned that it would have some singing and it would help, but it's not required for you to sing. And so we had to sing in the auditions. And the thing about it is, like, so I was auditioning really for the girl with the belt, with the highest note, diba? And if you get, I don't know if you can tell from my voice right now, but it's pretty much on the lower side. I've been an alto forever, and on some days I sing tenor like a guy because I have such a guy voice. And so during the auditions though, I really just had to pretend to, like, yeah, I'm gonna belt. I could do that sometimes, but it's really, you know, it's really just not being afraid to look dumb and stupid. So yeah, I just did that. But the thing is, like, we don't actually, the singers, the three of us girls, funny enough, we were all singers. So the first girl, Angelia, she sings quite well. And then the second girl, her name is Marga, she's a professional singer. Like, she has a record and everything. And then there's me, and I'm, like, I guess, a musical theater person. But the thing is, they didn't use our voices for that. Although, during the shoot, so we shot on a Wednesday, I was talking to some of the producers, and then they found out that I was a voiceover talent, that I do voiceovers. And so, you know, I was just talking to them and I was doing the acting thing, but it's really not like it's not really my voice. But then when they heard me, they asked me to come in the next day to record the voiceover. So if you hear the voiceover for the commercial, that's actually me. So I didn't sing, but I did the whole voiceover and the on-cam talent, I guess.
Nice. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people, like, that are listening right now, they must be wondering, oh, paano niya nagawa yun? Like, elevate to, like, literally raise your voice without losing a breath and stuff like that.
I know. People always ask me for a sample, and I'm like, do you not hear my voice? Like, it's obviously not me, but yeah. So, I try sometimes.
So no editing tools are required. Like you didn't need Adobe Audition or Audacity. Like,
No, not at all.
oh wow, no, that's crazy indeed. Anyways, wow. Yeah, we really talked a lot about that commercial. No, because it's such a hit now. Because I'm sure
Oh,
people are still stuck at home with their quarantine, and like YouTube right now, especially in this day and age, it's everywhere.
yeah,
So, and with ads, just um being
yeah,
coming out more often.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's really everywhere.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, even on TikTok, like apparently, so I wasn't on TikTok a lot, but apparently, they made it a TikTok challenge. And so my friends would send me, there was like one day where all my friends just sent me screen caps because apparently when you open the app, like
mhm.
my face is the first thing you see, and I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, so it keeps coming back to my life. But I'm thankful. I'm really, really grateful. But it's just really embarrassing sometimes.
That's all right, because I'm not sure if you guys saw in my page, but I did some embarrassing stuff myself. So it's only
Don't we all?
yeah, we all have that embarrassing stunt that we don't want to do, but we end up just showing to the world because YOLO, diba?
Truly.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to the whole acting theme. So, who were some of your biggest inspirations? Like, I'm sure we all know Missy Maramar. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm sure she's like one of the pioneers of not just Atenea theater but Philippine theater, and she's just such a legend in her industry. And I actually saw one of her plays back when I was taking up Lit 14. I forgot what the play was called, but it's like her and this one guy, and the whole time it was just
it's the gruesome. Yeah, gruesome playground injuries. Is that right?
somewhere within those times. It was like a black and white background. I think she played the role of a surgeon.
Oh, okay. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Basta, like you guys get the point. So, I guess other than Miss Maramar, like who were some of your key contributors, or who were those who contributed to your acting career, which is obviously still going on like right now?
Yeah. Thank you. Well, honestly, it's I think that as an actor, the key is really to learn from everyone that you've worked with, whether it's a director or like a castmate. Yeah, it's really learning from all these people. But I really have to give a shout out to those who teach theater. I mean, now that I'm doing it myself, like the first person that I ever had as a theater teacher is this guy called Francis Matthews. So he does twin bill theater with his twin brother, and so he's great. I didn't get to work with him a lot. It was just like a few months, but I learned a lot from that. And then so I just kept going. I worked with Naomi Gonzalez. She plays Chayong in Himala, and she's amazing.
Yeah.
So I've worked with her a couple of times as well. And then Missy was my first director in Europe, and Missy was really the one who introduced me to very very educated acting, and that's always great. We've also worked with Darrell Uy, and so he's been a big influence, especially because when it came to directing, he was always sort of like my mentor. Like everything I learned is from him. Alex Lorica was my castmate, my friend, but she's also been, an assistant director and a mentor at some point. Who else? As an actor, Isa Manalo Lopez, kung paano ako naging leading lately. Worked with her. And then Top Girls. Yeah, and then Top Girls, which was supposed to come out this March, and then it got canceled because of COVID. So I was really excited for that, but it didn't go, things didn't go the way we planned this year. So those definitely everyone I've worked with. But when it comes to just, I guess the attitude, because apparently, so my dad, I didn't know this because he never shared this to me, but apparently my dad, when he was a teenager, was really into theater, and he would try to do theater a lot, as a kid growing up in Metro Manila. So yun, like it was his dream and he just didn't get to do it, and so now he's really happy that I get to do it, but he never even told me that he did theater, or he was interested in theater until I started doing it. And so I think it was great. So I'm guessing he's like my biggest influence.
Yeah,
Just getting
sure.
it from him, yeah, inheriting it from him. I think that's great. Oh, Patrick Vela, the guy who brought me to Malta, really opened my eyes. So yeah, all these people, and then I just try to learn, take everything from everyone that I work with. It's always just the point to make every experience a learning experience, because you work with such amazing people. And yeah, my castmates that are great, Kaki Theodora, and just amazing people.
That's a long list right there, and
Yes,
yeah,
sorry.
no, definitely, like, no problem right there. Like, it just shows how you really you just soak in all of the knowledge and information that each and every single expert just brings to you. And yeah, kitang-kita naman in some of your productions na not only do you apply some of these lessons and stuff like that, but you really just take it to another level, whether you're acting or whether you're directing. Like, I've seen some plays back in college, and super big time yung mga production nila. So yeah, major
Yeah,
props to all of you.
thank you.
So I guess now that we've finished talking about how you got into theater arts, I guess now it's also important to kind of differentiate the different types of acting. So of course you have movies and you have sitcoms, and then you have the theater plays mismo sa Broadway, sa
Yeah.
CCP, sa Soler, and all that. So I guess for some casual fans, or just listeners of the show, like, I guess to educate them a little bit more, like, what are some of the similarities and differences between the two styles of theater? Because
Of
even
acting,
though
I guess.
acting, even though they seem similar, like, content wise, like, the very nuance or the different nuances, like, they contrast one another, and there are a lot of distinguishing factors between, like, the different styles or the different types of a production or an acting gig.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's actually a really huge difference between the two. I think, since I don't have a lot of film experience, I actually am not a big fan of the camera. It's something I hope to get rid of, but I don't like working in front of the camera. But I guess the similarity, I think, is all actors, I feel like they have to do these three things. So there's truth, service, and creativity. Truth meaning you really have to be truthful when you're playing with your character. When you're playing characters, you have to find the truth in what you do. It's not pretending, it's acting, and it's just doing something. So always finding the truth in it. Servicing meaning you have to make sure that the audience understands you, that the audience is getting the story. Essentially, what you're doing is just storytelling, and so you have to do everything in service to the storytelling. And then creativity, of course, is really just like offering more, or like having more freedom to just try out things. It's really up to the actor. The director helps a lot, but the actor has to offer first and foremost. So I think that's a similarity. There's a lot more than that, but this would turn into like a whole new lecture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the difference, if I would like just to simplify it, is so when you're in the theater, you have to realize that you have audiences from every part of the room, and the theater is sometimes in different sizes. Sometimes you have a big theater or a small theater, and you also have to remember that these people paid the price, no matter where they're sitting. They paid to see the show, and so as an actor, you have to sort of remember to service the people in the front row and in the very back of the room. They have to understand the story. So you can't just, have your acting up to here, like up to stage. It can't just be that. It has to be bigger than that. Not meaning exaggerated, but it really just has to communicate a lot through all, like the entirety of the theater. And so if that means, just being more bigger,
Mm-hmm.
if just being bigger, or projecting a little bit more, or yeah, yes, like acting to your scene partners, but really acting through the entire room. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to the camera, they see every single thing that happens in your face. You know what I mean? So every little thing counts. And so for me, I actually have a hard time going into camera work after being trained in the theater. Uh, with commercials, it's sort of easy because commercials usually they ask you to go big, right? To be a little more exaggerated. And with sitcoms, I think it's also like very much theater because you have a live audience in your studio. But when it comes to just like movies and shows, it's really all like restraint. And I can't do that because I just have such an expressive face. I have such an expressive body and personality, I think. That even if I don't mean to react so bigly, I really will. And so that's something that I have to train myself, is the restraint, because it's kind of like, for example, for me, if my scene partner is like 2 feet away from me, the camera I would feel is like 2 centimeters away from my face, as I would feel, because it can get anything you want. So yeah, it's really just camera is doing less is more, but then in the theater sometimes you have to do a little bit more than that. Oh, also, I guess like when you do film, you don't do it chronologically, diba? Like when you shoot, kasi depends on the location, ganyan. So with plays, it's kind of like living the same life every night, every show. But then with film, it's kind of like you have to remember where you came from, or you have to do things like out of your pocket instead of like sourcing off of the scene before that. So yeah, I don't know which one people prefer. Also, there's less memorizing in film. That's all.
Yeah, and I guess also another advantage of film or just movies, there are multiple cuts. So like in case you mess up the first line and all that, you can always reshoot over and over. With theater, like
exactly,
everything is
You're on
caught
your own,
under a
pal.
microscope. Yep. Every single mistake and all that is going to be scrutinized by by film critics and reviews. So the margin of error, like
exactly,
in theater in general, is super limited.
But then also it's like, it's kind of just like you're on your own basically. Like when a play starts. Oh no, is it okay? Hello.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You're good.
So yeah. Sorry, what's that?
Oh no. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. So like with film, I mean, I guess with theater, being on your own is really like, when the curtain rises and when the show starts, it's your show now. Like your director can't save you. No one can save you. So there's more pressure in that sense, but also some of us just feel more at home in it than we do on film. I don't know. It really depends on who you are, sort of. But I would love to experience both.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much film and theater for you. They're 2 different universes, to say the least. Like they're not. Well, of course, the content may seem similar because you have some drama or you have some theater art type of films, or what do you call it? You have plays that are physical adaptations of certain films. But even though the lines may seem similar and all that, first of all, interpretations are different. And just the overall blockings and all that, like super iba siya from an actual film. And I guess also we forgot to mention, and I guess these guys also deserve a lot of credit. As much as the main cast or the actors on the stage get the most credit, like tell me about the people behind the scenes, because I think I saw a vlog of one of the behind the scenes members of Ang Huling El Bimbo, like si Kiara Dario. Like she was basically she gave us like an overview of what her life is, or what her and the rest of her stage mates are, or what their lives
production.
are. The production. Sorry, I'm not really too familiar with the terminologies of theater, but yeah.
No, it's okay. I got you.
Yeah, so like, how important are the production members? Like, are they, even though they're like behind the scenes people lang, like, I
Mm-hmm.
honestly believe that every single player counts. Like, everyone
Mm-hmm.
has to be in their A game, not just the
Yeah.
main characters, but most especially those behind the scenes, because they're the ones that give the cast members easier time. They also drive the show. Like, any missteps from them might
Exactly.
determine how good or how
Yeah.
bad uh, theatrical play will be.
Yeah, here's a little secret that I'm gonna tell you. In the hierarchy of important people, I mean, important people meaning like who's the boss in a production, the cast members are at the very bottom, meaning they're not the boss of everyone. Okay, the cast
Oh.
members are, yeah, the cast members are at the bottom because they really can't tell anybody what to do. Meaning that, so the production people, oh my gosh, just they're the most important for me. I don't know, it's just like really really important, and I feel like it's time to give credit to that. And actually I'm teaching a class where I am at right now. So I teach in a place called Abatala. It's a really creative school, like a learning center, where we teach interests of the kids. And I'm teaching a class called production management, where we teach them like every part of the backstage, so we teach them about costumes and makeup, about lights and sound, about stage managing and set and props and all these different parts. Because there might be a kid out there who is interested in the theater, but they're like, oh, but I don't sing or act or dance. And I'm like, dude, there's a place in the theater for everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, people fail to notice that, to realize that, but yeah, there really is a place for everybody in the theater. And so, like, for me, if you want to be a great actor, I suggest you do something backstage. You have to. So for me, I would have different, like, I would have go-to sort of departments. I usually help out in costumes and makeup. I would also help out in the theater management side of it. So I would do a lot of public relations. I would do a lot of front of house, meaning ushering people in their seats,
mhm.
cleaning the theater. Those are just really, really important stuff for me. And yeah, because you learn a lot, and it helps you better as an actor to really get the grasp of what the entire production team has to go through. And you learn a lot, definitely. And so, it's not like, it's really, for me, it's really like no one's more important than the other. It's really, you have to work together. And so for the production side, um, definitely the stage manager is the most important person in the entire theater. The stage manager is the boss.
Mhm, mhm.
And they do basically everything. So yeah, I do a lot of costumes and makeup. So it goes from planning to helping people do costumes. They're part of the show. Here's the thing, they're part of the rehearsal. That's the one thing that people don't realize. It's like, if it's a whole, like, if it's a machine, it's not gonna work without some of the production members. And so yeah, we just want to give props to those people. It's really nothing without them.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I think every single person, but more so those that you hardly see on stage, they're the ones who really will
Mhm.
determine how good or how bad the play will be.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about cleaning the theater and doing all the groundwork, because they may seem
Yeah.
little, but you know those who pay for theaters would not want to go into a theater house that's not clean or not
Yeah,
presentable.
exactly.
You want to make sure that before the matinee play is on, like, the theater
Yeah.
is tidied up, and everyone that's acting has a space that is conducive and just pretty much good to
Mhm.
go for not just one shift, but I think they have two shows. So can you imagine how tiring that
Yeah.
is? Like, for some of the more important cast
Mhm.
members to be able to do this not once but sometimes twice a day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's also one thing that we should mention. That's one of the big differences between, theater and film. Because theater, you're really in charge of this overall experience. And that's something that's really difficult to do now in this pandemic. I know there's a lot of online productions and online plays, but it's not, it's really not the same. So that's, yes, actors can still act today, but production people might not have the space to do production work. um so yeah, for me it's really, that's a big difference. It's why sometimes, like, it's a whole different experience to see a play and to see a movie. It's the experience.
For sure, for sure. So with that out of the way, I guess this is now the perfect segue to uh introduce me to some of your favorite um moments. Not really moments, but yeah, moments, or just
Uh-huh.
overall plays, or just anything in the field of acting. So whether it's your favorite sitcom, your favorite theatrical plays, like, is there any scene, or is there any like whole play or movie or
Uh-huh.
TV show back then that really stood out to you the most? Or if there's like a list, like
hmm.
a short list of sorts, because I'm sure you have a lot. Like, I'm sure back during our time when we were younger, we were exposed to a lot of movies, a lot of theater plays in our school. So
Uh-huh.
I'm sure it's gonna be hard to like nitpick the best one. So I guess, what are some of your favorites like growing up?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, dude. Well, growing up when I was a kid, I was really impressed by the people in Annie, like just those kids doing all those
Yeah,
stunts
yeah.
and singing and dancing. And I was really like, how do they do that? They're
Mhm.
literally like, tumbling all over the orphanage and just
Yeah.
singing and dancing. And it's all one take. For me, that was like the big moment that, whoa, like theater is legit work. Um, but I guess more locally, my favorite show that it's my dream role. I'm saying this just in case my friends are watching, but I watched this play maybe last year called Every Brilliant Thing,
Mhm.
and I watched it. My friends worked on it. It's by Sandbox Collective,
Yeah.
and so it's a one-woman show. And the thing is, it's sort of like part a play and part improv, meaning there's a lot of audience interaction. And for me, that was just like a perfect mix for me, because I love improv. There's many different kinds of theater, but then there's improv as well. I love improv,
Yeah.
and I love, as the host, as an events host, I always worry about the audience. And so that for me was just like an eye-opening experience, that hey, I want to do this play one day. And the director, Jenny Hamora, she remembered that, because I said I wanted to make it my thesis, but I never actually studied
Mhm.
theater arts. I mean, I didn't take it in college. Hoo. But yeah, and the thing about it is, theater, it's when a play, it's when a piece of theater moves you and makes you think really about things in life. Because
Yeah.
that play didn't, Missy Maramar would always say this, that theater is not here to tell you what to think, but what to think about. And I think, that play was just amazing to me. The person that I saw was Teresa, but then I also saw I wanted to see Kaki Tidora do it this year, but then, COVID.
Mhm.
So that for me was just it's such a small play. It's a very intimate play, but it had a lot of impact. And yeah, for me, it doesn't, like, some plays, theater doesn't need to be big and big budget and,
Yeah.
popular. It just has to be nice storytelling. That's it. So for me, that would be my biggest thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you said audience interaction. Like, actually, before I give you mine, like, what are your thoughts on like breaking the fourth wall? Like, you see it a lot in theater, we see a lot in sitcoms. Like, I don't know, like there's
Uh-huh.
some like production managers that don't allow to break the fourth wall. But
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're part of a cast or whether you're just a spectator. Do you like
Yeah.
enjoy these break the fourth wall moments, or do you get nervous because something crazy might happen
I
anytime?
don't get nervous. Yeah. Um, See, that's a funny thing, because actually, like, breaking the fourth wall, it has to be done well for me. It has to be done perfectly, because there's such a thing as a monologue that's not necessarily breaking the
Mm.
fourth wall. So in the last play that I did, fully, in the Theory of Relativity, I play this girl who does a monologue about cake. It's really funny. I mean, I'm guessing it's funny. People laugh.
Yeah.
And it's basically me breaking the fourth wall every time I come on stage. But I didn't really treat it as breaking the fourth wall. It's really like, having the audience part of the world that I was creating on stage. So yeah, it really has to be done. It has to be clear. That's the thing. It has to be clear for the actors and for the directors if it's a choice to really break the fourth wall, or it's just, a part of a monologue or something like that. There are some moments of breaking the fourth wall. Like, for example, I don't know if you've seen Enola Holmes, Millie Bobby Brown. She, yeah, Netflix.
Yeah, Stranger Things
so
girl.
she breaks the fourth wall a lot, and I was like, it's really interesting because I mean, she's such a great actor. She's such a great actor, young actor. But the thing is, like, sometimes it's just like, girl, why are you talking to me? Like, you're about to die. Like, stop. And I saw a tweet of someone saying it felt like she was watching Dora, because you know how Dora like kind of talks to you in the middle of her adventure. And so there's that. And it's funny. I'm not hating on it. It's just like, it changes the entire thing. So for me, it has to have a purpose why you're breaking the fourth wall, not just for entertainment value. It has to be a clear purpose and a strong purpose, and you have to make a conscious choice to do it. It can't be accidental. There you go.
Yeah, definitely. I guess for me, like, I'm not really the type to. I've seen some theatrical plays myself, but I'm more of a sitcom type of person. Like, I've seen a lot of great sitcoms over the years, and even though I'm not from the 90s, like, we're both not really 90s kids, but I think the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air still...
Oh, dude, I'm not getting any of that. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, sorry. Yeah, guys, so...
Can you repeat that?
Go ahead.
I liked her. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so once again, to my listeners, really sorry for all the technical difficulties. Like, as you guys can see, there's a different setup, and our Wi-Fi is just inconsistent. But yeah, hopefully you guys are still sticking around. But yeah, I was just saying to Joyce that, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that's still one of my favorite sitcoms to this day. And I was just watching their reunion like a couple of weeks ago, and you can really... Yeah, thankfully someone from YouTube was able to upload it, so I didn't need to download the HBO app. But even though, like, both Joyce and I weren't 90s kids, like, even this generation, like, we just love that show. Like, I think it really made Will Smith who he is right now. And how I got to watch it actually was, thankfully, I think back in the 2010s, like, they would show reruns of that show. So that's how I got exposed to that. And even though it's not a theatrical setting, like, there were actually live audiences that would they would show up, to each of their recording sessions. And I think the one scene that really stuck out to me, I'm sure everyone who watches The Fresh Prince, they remember this scene so much. This is the dad episode, and I think that really blew up over the years. And I guess it just shows you the greatness of not just Will Smith, but most especially see James Avery, the guy who played Uncle Phil. God rest his soul.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. I think the part that really struck me the most wasn't really the actual... Well, of course it was the actual scene, but it's more the behind the scenes, like how James Avery was kind of not really pressuring Will, but like kind of motivating him not to mess this up, because this is like a very momentous scene in the history of like television. So anything less than a perfect cut wouldn't sit well with James Avery. So I like what he told Will. Like, he said, don't act around me, but act with me. Use me as that guiding source to help you elevate your craft. And the fact that scene just took one take, like, it was just shot in one take, like, that's still mind-boggling to me. But it just shows you how much of a cultural icon that show is, up to this day. Like, it's really crazy how the cast members have grown. Like, I've seen the reunion like a couple of times, and I think that show is just so revolutionary, and it's such a influential sitcom for all of us. So yeah, I mean that's just my take on some of my favorite, or one of my most favorite forms of
Yeah.
theater. And yeah, I'm not sure about you, Joyce.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Fresh Prince?
No, dude, I absolutely love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because my forever celebrity crush is Will Smith. He's married and older.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I absolutely love Will Smith and I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I actually like a lot of the 80s and 90s sitcoms, so Full House and Growing Pains and all these sitcoms. I loved watching them, and for me, I really think like my main goal is really to be in a sitcom, just because it's partly theater and film. So I love the idea of it. The thing about it is, watching the first few seasons of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it's like I was like, dude, Will Smith, you don't know how to act. Like, I forgive you because you're cute and you have the energy, but he wasn't a great actor. Definitely, he was not a great actor. And so to think that he is now like this A-list actor, who's done great works like Pursuit of Happiness, where his acting is just immaculate. But yeah, it's so funny to see him grow in that show. And the scene that you were talking about, about the dad and like Will's outburst, it's I think it's really iconic because they put this really highly dramatic scene in a sitcom. And see, that's the thing, like even in a sitcom where people are supposed to do bad acting, as they say in Hollywood, like bad acting. Even if they do that, and then you just, there's just, because there was so much truth in it. That's what I'm saying. That truth is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just really changed everything. And that, even in a comedy, there's really just, room for heart. These shows are not here just for entertainment. They're really here because they're showing you a piece of life. And that's why it's so important.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, Will Smith is not, or at the time, he wasn't the best actor. Like, he was just some rapper from Philly. But, seeing him do one of the most iconic scenes, like, it just shows you how much, he's evolved throughout the years.
Yeah, dude, shout out to Ryan, because we always it's always a joke between us, or like it's a thing, because like he loves Will Smith as well, and
who doesn't?
Like, Will Smith, exactly. And then so how there was like this whole season where Tyra Banks was there, like as Will Smith's like childhood friend, and I'm like, dude, that's the two of us. I'm Tyra Banks at this point, because that's how our friendship is like. Sometimes we argue, and it's super fun. So there you go. Really one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess in terms of theater and just overall acting, that's definitely at the top. I guess when it comes to a theatrical performance, there's so many. Like I think we make it a point to watch, or I make it a point to watch one theatrical play every year, because make no mistake about it, those theater seats are very expensive. So and I don't have much money, obviously, so don't we all? But I always try to make it a point to watch at least one play per year. And I think this is hard, but I think the one play that kind of stuck to me the most was back in 2018, I think when we went to New York, we were lucky enough to watch Anastasia. I'm not sure if you know that, but
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the plays that stood out, because first of all, it's in Broadway, so that in itself is like already an elite show. And I'm not sure if you know Christy Altamar, but she's the girl who played Anastasia.
Yes.
I just loved the way she acted all throughout, and actually I got to meet her in person. Like, she was very kind.
Wow.
Yeah, like, because after the plays there's like a meet and greet, so I literally got to take a selfie with her like after the show. So I guess I'll never forget that experience.
Amazing.
Yeah, very, very amazing stuff. And I think the production of it, like from start to finish, it was very raw, it was very deep, and I think it can hit a lot of people, given I think the setting of it, or at least the plot was, it was during, I think, the Cold War or World War II. I'm not sure, but war setting siya. Like war setting
Yeah,
siya, and I think Anastasia was like this mystery girl that I
yeah,
think the Russians had to hunt down or something like that.
yeah. Yeah, it was well, I mean, I don't know, like Anastasia the cartoon, like the animated movie is one of my favorite princess movie. It's not a she's not a Disney princess, but you know, she's one of my favorite princesses.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, just for them to do a whole musical with some of the songs from the animated movie, but also
Yeah,
basing it off of the historical, you know, it's great. I would love to see it. I love the songs. I love the music. It's
yeah, definitely.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially Journey to the Past. That's like one of my favorite
Yes.
songs. First of all, because Aaliyah sang it, and you know, Aaliyah is one of my favorite
Uh-huh.
artists. But yeah, hearing it uh, on the radio and hearing it on the actual play, like yeah, it hits a lot of memories. And I actually remember watching the animated version when I was young.
Yeah.
So based on both the animated and the Broadway version, like they really did well, like doing justice to
Great.
each version. So yeah, I mean Anastasia, that's Anastasia for you. So I guess those two are like would like some of my favorite uh, forms of acting, and I'm sure there's many more that I missed out. But
Mhm.
yeah, it just goes to show you that there's so many talented actors, there's so many talented um, bodies of work that people really need to pay close attention to. And I guess that's a good way to wrap up our show. Like, what do you think is the state of acting now? Of course, we all know that the 2020s and beyond will be very unpredictable times. Of course, theater is going to be pretty much different just because people won't be able to pump up. And I think the whole audition process will be a little bit tricky. But
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think is going to be the state or the future of theater? And I guess what is your advice to some of my listeners who want to aspire to become a cast member, whether it's the main character, a supporting cast, or a behind the scenes
Uh-huh.
dude or girl? Like, what's the game plan for those who want to pursue a life in theater arts?
Yeah. Well, I guess right now, because you know these are trying times. For me, it's just to never stop learning. You know, it's really taking this time, the fact that you are at home and that you have some time, hopefully some time to do other things. It's really to explore it. There's, you know, like theater isn't really just, you know, there's so many ways to learn it and to experience it. So now that you're just at home and you can't really do like workshops and actual productions, take the time to, you know, enroll yourself in these like online classes or in these communities. You know, do improv. Like I know they do online improv and things like that. Watch great actors, watch great bodies of work, and then learn from that. um and really, yeah, just this is the time, I guess, to, you know, sit down and prepare yourself for what's coming, when things do get better. And uh yeah, it's really now, I think, is the time to just, you know, immerse yourself in, you know, theater education and in great works of art. Really just, you know, follow great actors, follow great works, read with your friends, like read scripts with your friends. It doesn't even have to be full on acting. It's really just, you know, reading these great plays, reading these great books and resources on acting, I think, you know, is the best way to do it. And yeah, I think, okay, some people say they forget. I'm very guilty of this as well, is that sometimes, you know, when an audition is coming up, that's only when you start training again, that's only when you start singing again. That for me, like, I'm not really a singer, but then I you know, before, it's only when I have an audition coming up that, like, oh man, I have to sing. No, you have to do it, you know, even if there's no audition, you have to keep practicing these things, or else, you know, it'll be hard for you to pick them up when you need them. So yeah, it's just really consistency. And yeah, just, you know, put yourself out there. For me, my main thing is really that if you're shy, you're gonna miss out on a lot of things. So
Yeah, for
a lot
sure,
of
for
great things
sure.
in life.
Yep.
There you go.
Definitely. I guess the bottom line is to just, try out new stuff. And yeah, for those who want to be actors, like Yeah, reading is very underrated. Like I think it's honestly a lost art
Yes.
with social media, with so much technology in our hands. I think reading
Yeah.
has become such a lost art. And I actually appreciate the fact that when we were young, most of us were required to by our parents to read books. Like at the
Yeah.
time, it would be boring as heck, but
Exactly.
when you grow
Yeah,
older,
dude,
like
I would get in trouble for reading too much back then, which is weird, but yeah, I would read like, I don't know, 45 books a day, and they'd be like 4 to 5, not 45, but like, yeah.
mhm.
So I would get into trouble for that, just like, oh, you read too much, and I'm like, what else is there to do? It's I live at home in the farm, you know.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure.
read, guys, just read these things and
Yeah,
learn, 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 learn.
definitely, definitely. And yeah, it just shows you how much you need to be versatile to, be an aspiring, actor, whether it's actor of a
Yeah.
movie, a sitcom, or a theatrical play. And speaking of versatility, I guess, pahabol question, like, did your stint at Magic help you a little bit? Like, I'm sure you wanted to be a director before trying out, being a DJ at Magic. But similar to my
Sorry,
question,
what was the question?
did your stint
Uh-huh.
at Magic help you out? Like, you being a DJ,
Oh.
like,
Uh-huh.
did it kind of help you a little
Help
bit,
me.
or was it like a completely different set of skills that you need to learn that in? So Magic.
The funny thing is, like, it's always been like a competition between the two for me. Like, sometimes I only show up in Magic when I don't have a play, but when I do have a show production coming up, it's
Mhm.
like, bye. And everyone in Magic is just like, I just disappear and appear sometimes.
Yeah.
But essentially both helped me. And so our mentor in the junior jock program, see Santi, Mig Santi,
Mhm.
he would commend me on sort of like when I do like these segues, because I've naturally okay timing because I am in musical theater.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so of course that helps me. um and and then but the way that like that radio helps me in the show is really um it does. I don't know how, but it really does. It's really, for me, getting used to talking to an audience or connecting. So for example, when you're on the radio, you can't really see the people you're connecting with, and in the theater it's sort of the same,
Mhm.
but because you can't see with the lights and everything, but it's just trusting that someone's out there and connecting. And so I think that both radio and theater is really all about connecting to somebody far away from you. And so those really help me out. Like, those really go hand in hand. There's many times when radio has helped me um in the theater. So there you go.
Yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And yeah, I just want to comment, like, because I did mention earlier on that you're my third Magic guest, and yeah, I guess the
Yeah.
three of you are like some of my favorite DJs, like growing up, or when I listen, because
Aw.
I've listened to your show like I think once in the car, and yeah, I can tell now. You're used to what you're doing. You think theater really influenced you. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're definitely up there. Of course, you have Brian. Like, he's just a hosting genius. He's a DJ genius.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, I can't forget about Yanni, who we also had on the show.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of my favorites to say the least. Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Magic really just produces great talent, don't they? Like,
Yes.
definitely.
Definitely. Junior jock is superior. No, just kidding.
Mhm.
All the student jock programs are, great. It's just some of us are built for Magic, and we'll stay
Yeah,
with Magic for a
sure,
really,
for
really,
sure.
really long time.
Mhm. And yeah, I look forward to hearing all three of you and all the other aspirants, who want to
Thank you.
try out their luck, whether it's in Magic, whether it's in your field, which is theater, or whether it's in anywhere else, really, like whatever niche or whatever genre you guys want to pursue. So with that out of the way, I guess that's gonna wrap up our show. Thank you very much, Joyce, for being
Thank
here
you so much.
on this holiday. Well, at least at the time of this recording, it is a holiday, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you've been really busy lately. But thank you for dedicating,
Yeah.
just an
Of
hour
course.
to be here. But I guess before we do go, what are some of your plugs? As I usually ask some of
Oh,
my guests.
sure.
So what are some of your plugs? Where can they check out that Lucky Me commercial? Where can they check out your
Oh
other gigs that you may
no.
be hiding from us? So this is now your chance to
Yes.
present them to everybody listening to our show right now.
Well, yeah, you guys can just follow me. Yeah, you guys can just follow me on, like, I guess, Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. I'm on TikTok because I'm Gen Z or something. I'm really
Yeah.
not, but I'm pretending. So you can find me at JBettyBuen. So that's at JBETIBUEN. I have a Facebook page that I never move, but sometimes I update there some of my voiceover stuff and commercial stuff. So that's Joyce Buen on Facebook, and I'll see you guys there. And that's about it.
Yep, pretty much. So that's where you will be following Joyce, or that's where you should be following Joyce on Twitter, IG, TikTok, and yeah, FB, pretty much. Although me, I'm not a huge TikTok fan. I've never had TikTok, and
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna fall
It's
for the
fine.
temptation.
It's okay.
So for me naman, if you want to follow me on Instagram for the podcast page, it is at joat.pod.delro. So once again, it is at joat.pod.delro. For the personal account, it is at Jake_Delro. On Twitter, it is at _Del_Ro_. On Facebook, it is facebook.com/joat.pod.delro. So it's similar to my podcast account on Instagram. Or if you just want to search it on the search tab, it is Jake of all trades with Del Ro. This podcast can be streamed, televised, viewed, and listened to on the following platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, Breaker, on certain occasions, Facebook Live, and on YouTube. So with that out of the way, first of all, how was that outro right there? How was my presentation skills? I always ask some of
Amazing.
I always ask some of the voiceover guests to rate me because I'm sure I have some stuff to improve.
No, I think it's great. I think here the voice is there, so you have nothing to worry about. You're fine.
All right. So once again, thanks Joyce for being here. I'm sure
Thank you.
just like with Joyce and with everybody else who's been on the show, I'm sure you guys are shocked to see me talking or hear me talking this much. Super quiet dude, but here we are now on our 24th episode. And like I said, December is just getting started, so we're gonna get a lot busier than usual. And once again, major apologies to everyone if I've been pretty inactive lately. Of course, I have a life outside of podcasting, but yeah, hopefully we do finish out the year strong because we all need to have at least a nice finish 2020, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, with that out of the way, that's a wrap, y'all. Thank you for tuning in today, mga Del Bros at Sisters. This has been your one and only Jake of all trades. I am Delro, she is Joyce Buen, and we are both signing out. Hanggang sa susunod na usapan at
Bye.
chikahan. See ya.
See ya.